You.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, and now I'm going on Instagram. Hey, Instagram, how are you doing? It's Wink, Blink, and Flirt. How are you? It is Wednesday. Yay, yay, yay. And if it's Wednesday and it is after dark, you know what time it is. It is time for Toy Talk After Dark. Hey, today, you see, I'm wearing green today for, our 420 edition. Whoop, whoop. So today I have on with me, if those of you who are watching on StreamYard, I have Jody. Jody, am I saying your name right? Chapin or Choppin?
Chapin.
Chapin. Okay, as
Chapin,
in
long A.
okay, Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, that kind of.
Yes, Uncle Harry. Uncle Harry Chapin.
Is that your uncle for
No, no, not for real.
real? I was like, okay. And then we had Karen Hankins, but Karen left. But Karen
Uh-oh.
is back. Karen is back with us. Tonight, as I said before, our topic is 420 Toy Talk After Dark, the 420 edition. I've introduced my guests. I'm gonna ask them to tell us a little bit about themselves. Hey Jody, you're first. And tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for welcoming me on the show. I am Jody Chapin. I have been a registered nurse for 34 years doing labor and delivery, women's health, empowering women at their bedside, bringing these babies into the world. Um, I'm a woman who's in her 50s, so this is great about the talk that we're about to encounter. Besides being a labor and delivery nurse, I am also a cannabis nurse. I am wearing, I don't know if you can see this, I can't see myself, but it's a cannabis leaf with a heartbeat because cannabis is part of our lives. We have an endocannabinoid system, every single one of us, and the plants, cannabinoids interact beautifully with this system, and we will get into how how the benefits are to our bodies. But when I became a patient, I didn't know how to use it other than recreation. You smoke it, you felt good, bam. I didn't know the science, that there was a science behind it. So we didn't learn about the endocannabinoid system in nursing school, but we are changing that now because I was part of a collaborative with the American Cannabis Nurses Association. Carrie Clark has written a book on just for nurses, a handbook, a nurse's handbook on medical use of cannabis. And I helped contribute to one of the chapters, chapter 9, and that is all about being a cannabis nurse and what it means. And it's
Very
really
cool.
helping, guiding people on how to utilize this plant to its fullest capacity safely, safe use of this plant to benefit us all. And that's in all aspects of our life, whether it be recreation or health. And that includes sexual health. So that's kind of how I got into cannabis nursing, and it's become part of my life. It has saved my life. I came off of all of my pharmaceuticals. I lost over a
Really?
hundred. Yes, I lost over 150 pounds.
Oh my.
Yeah. Having cannabis in your toolbox is amazing. People think that, oh, you're a stoner, you sit back, you're shoving your face full of Doritos and you're doing nothing, and you're a lazy
No?
sack of potatoes. It actually improved my work. My manager, my boss saw how I have improved. My life has improved. My family has seen my change since I've incorporated cannabis into my life as part of my daily ritual. I mean, this is part of my life. It's just like the air I breathe, the water I drink. It's it's part of me. And I want to help educate others, and I want to collaborate with others, and you know instruct people on how to use it as a toolbox in their magic toolbox, much like sex toys, which we'll get into in a little bit. Cannabis is also something that can go hand in hand, and I can't wait to get deeper into this conversation.
Well, Jody, I love it. You are the trifecta of everything going. I'm going to let KH, Karen Hankins, tell us a little about herself. And Karen, if you have any kind of background experience or knowledge of, either cannabis or CBD, I'd love for you to share.
Well, thank you so much. Hello and good evening, everyone. I started out as Susie Homemaker, right? I have five beautiful children who are adults right now, but as when they were younger, my goal was to stay home with them and just play guitar and be a part of the PTA, and that was a beautiful thing. But as kids grow up, you grow and and by the way, when they went to bed, the magic hour was bedtime. Their dad and I, we roll up this and the good stuff and make sure all the fans were going, put on the record, the music. And it was, I lived for those evenings.
I love it. I love it.
So I may be a little bit behind the times, but I love being a part of, this with Karen, Toys After Dark, and all of these informative broadcasts because I'm looking forward to getting introduced to edibles and the CBD oils and all of that good stuff. And of course, when you're out and about working, I've been an EMR instructor since 2013. Like Karen was saying, road warrior, being on the road. Now I'm a senior trainer. And if you have an application, I'll train it for you. So that's where I am right now. So I'm looking forward to hearing more from Jody as far as being a cannabis nurse and just sharing some, personal experience and more so, I'm gonna close this and use these, and it's just a pleasure to be here.
I'm so excited, Jen. I wanted to invite you to come up and speak, but I'm trying to see how, Jen, if you could do me a favor and request to come up so that way I can pull you up. Um, One of the things that I love about the fact that this is a great, great, great kind of a panel, I guess, or a group of people having conversation, because I know it's hard, not hard, to have conversations with people who are not in the culture, who have not been in the culture, because you have a different perception of what it is. You're not sure how to, Jen. I think if you let me see, what is this? Oh, duh. Like nothing like knowing your tools, I always say. Okay, then we'll need the latest version of Instagram to join. Upgrade your app, girl. Oh no. Okay, so it's telling me I can't add you, Jen, because you've got to
Oh
upgrade.
no.
Oh, boo. All right. So here's one of the things. I know a lot of my friends, a number of my friends, are in the culture, either with CBD drops, with gummies. Some people smoke. Some people are into hemp. Some people into THC. I know I've been the whole spectrum. Like Jody's a cancer nurse. My mom had MS, and it was progressively degenerative form of MS. And in fact, it wasn't even MS; it was a cousin. It was the big bag, ugly, drunken, horrible cousin uncle, and there was so much pain with that I'm doing what I do. I was very adverse to having all of the dolls, as they like to say in the ED, the tramadol, the blah 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 blah, because I knew the impact it would make on her liver. And those of you who are taking any kind of medication, I hope some people are tuning in, because as you can tell from the change in my bio, we're kind of going in a little bit different direction. It's not just the toys; it's all the other things as well. So I say all that to say, um, CBD, cannabis and CBD, I think, kind of prolonged her stay with us. It helped to kind of mitigate the pain, to control the pain, and things of that nature. One of the things that reason why I wanted to pull this down as a topic is there are a lot of women who are in midlife. Midlife, for those of you who don't know, is that period between 40 and 60. And 60, 62-ish, I'm going to be real generous, I'm going to say 65. Um, as I always used to say, the older you get, the older old gets.
I like that.
So, um, with that said, um, you have women who are either in relationships, who are in marriages, who are or even dating, or who choose not to date as well because of the fear and the pain because of the drop of estrogen, and they're reluctant to have sex because of that kind of pain. Now, I actually wrote an agenda because I'm that kind of type A-ish, but hey, I, as Jody, as I said to you this afternoon, we would kind of riff a little bit. One of the things I posted this weekend is, are you 420 ready? And being 420 ready, ladies, both of you have smoked, have what would you say to somebody who was thinking, tomorrow they go out with their significant other? And I've heard this so many times, and they're like, we're gonna get high tonight, we're gonna smoke, and we're gonna eat apples. I'm like, not the two of them together, rookie.
Right.
But it's like, oh, just say no. For those of you, this is a PSA. Don't request on the second.
Oh my God, apples.
Don't. Auntie Karen says, don't eat gummies and smoke.
And
Don't eat gummies and drink the THC soda. Don't smoke and drink the THC soda. And whatever you do, hey, Lovey, how are you?
Especially if it's your first time. I think, like, if people don't know what an edible can do to them, you definitely hear that edibles affect people so much more differently than smoking it, and that's because of the bioavailability and how long it lasts. Where smoking, it you react to it quickly, but it's out of your system quickly, so it's easier to titrate. It's easier to know how it's going to work in your body because it's acting quicker. Where an edible, you pop it in and you metabolize. Everybody metabolizes things differently. So that edible, is it is it a gummy? Is it a chocolate? Is it a liquid form? Have you eaten that day? What has your other intake been? And it can take effect anywhere from a half hour to 2 to 3 hours later. So people will keep on taking more and more and not realize how their body is going to react.
Oh, Karen, you're muted. Oh,
we can't hear what she says.
Yeah, you're muted.
You're muted.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. My friend Jen from Australia has joined us. Jen, I met on Clubhouse the same way I met Jody. And Jen, real quickly, what's your experience with cannabis or CBD or anything green?
Very limited, and I will say, although with cannabis, but with CBD oil, I've found it really powerful for dealing with anxiety. So that's been my real benefit. So that's the benefit I've had. I probably had it about 4 years ago when I was in a really difficult space with anxiety, and it really helped. And then more recently, as hormones have been changing, it's been a really interesting little extra to really. So, yeah, and I've had my had my blood test done and could see where there's issues with progesterone and so on. But it's to me, it's been a really powerful go-to, and I recommend it to people when they need it. Yeah,
definitely. I think a lot of people, and tell me what you think, ladies, a lot of people are stuck in the Nancy Reagan era of, hey, Miss Victoria Sparks, how are you too? People are stuck in that Nancy Reagan era of, weed, cannabis, pot, whatever you want to call it, is a gateway drug, and it's going to lead you to other things. Hey, Tanya, how are you? Hey. What has and anybody who's used CBD or cannabis, has that prompted you to use heroin or methamphetamines? Although I have indulged in mushrooms, but that was before I smoked.
No, but even we can even get to that. Mushrooms, plant medicine, microdosing psilocybins, like that. I want to get into that too, because that's the next. We're just transitioning into psilocybin. Like, it all comes down to plant medicine and how to replace pharmaceuticals with plant medicine, because I've replaced all of my pharmaceuticals with forms of cannabis, orally, topically, intravaginally. Right? I mean,
Yes, I guess you saw the yes, Tanya, I'm so happy you're here too. I'm glad you're able to catch me live. Those people, let me ask you this. I have some friends who are in the live, and one person is particularly sensitive. Um, would what kind of impact does and I put up some of the melts, and I'll show you guys some of those in a quick second. But the melts are from Foria, one of our sponsors today, and they have a product called Melts. And what the melts are, it has a bit of cocoa butter, has a little bit of beeswax, and when you insert it, it's a vaginal suppository that has CBD. So for those people who are struggling with, who have not had sex a lot, who have the tearing and the fissures that comes from underutilization, you can insert that suppository. I thought I had one with me. You can insert that suppository, and what that does is it coats your vaginal walls, and then you don't have all the tearing. And it also, you have the medicinal effect of the CBD in your vagina. So it's not like that. Everybody I know who tends, a lot of women I know, I'm not gonna say everybody, a lot of women I know who are in their 50s start to get real kind of tense, like, oh my God, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna hurt. This gives you that bit of easement. And also, too, one of the things that, and you ladies talk about, a couple of things I always say, toys are tools and tools are toys. What I have this week is, this is a chocolate, kind of to Jody, with Karen and you for your edibles. This one is a CBD edible, and this will kind of, and I don't know if I can bring that with me to your event, but this will help kind of take the edge off. So if you are in that position and you are thinking of getting busy, but you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. Even if you put in the suppository, this will take the edge off. This is a CBD chocolate that when I'm a distributor for a company that the chef who makes the chocolate was a actual chef, and they are delicious. These are absolutely delicious.
And that, by the way, is called stacking. When you're taking the medication in different ways, whether it be orally, topically, intravaginally, anally, inhalation, it's you're just stacking the medications, and they all work, similar but different. They all work together, the entourage effect. And it's great. I love that, we're talking about doing both, taking an edible and using a suppository internally, not only for pleasure, but it helps, for pain. It helps decrease anxiety. Cannabis is a vasodilator, so it helps relax the muscles down there. The lubrication from the coconut oil, that helps lubricate everything to make things more pliable down there. And then the oral, it relaxes you. So I mean, there is really a mind vagina, a mind yoni connection. I mean, if you're not relaxed up here, things aren't going to happen down there, whether you're alone or with somebody else. I mean, it's like you gotta get there up there. And guys are more of a visual, I think guys are more visual, but we're more mental. We need to know that we're going to be taken care of. Absolutely.
Now, this is one other thing that I wanted to talk to. You said we're starting to talk about getting out of your head, and CBD and cannabis and things of that nature. I know for me, if I'm all in my head and I'm just stressed, blah, 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 I generally take a bath. My go-to, I'm not a shower girl. I'm a bath person. This is something, Karen, I think you've had one of these. This is a CBD bath bomb. It's something that we carry as well. And in fact, tonight's bundle, I'm going to start doing bundles of the day of the week. This is a toy, and this is a CBD bath bomb. And what this is allows you to have your own kind of me time. Okay.
Is that a Tracy's dog?
I see where you.
I love it. Well, do you see what I have in my ear?
Oh, what is that? I can't see it.
It's here. I'm gonna take it out so you can see it closer.
Oh,
that's the necklace, right?
Vibrator. I love it.
Yes.
I bought that for work. I wear this at work.
She has little earrings, like dangling earrings that are vibrators. It's like
Yeah.
everyone
Size
Or the
remembers the
wand,
wand.
the wand
The
that we
size
would
wand
fit.
that
one.
used to plug into the wall. So instead of that, she has them in her earrings. That's one of the things, ironically, when I have women's events, I give those out. Hey, TB Customs, how are you doing? So
And
this,
I've heard so much about the Tracy's dog.
yes,
Oh my
I
God.
distribute their products too. So this is
Oh,
the bundle of the night.
Mhm.
And with a silicone lube. So this will be on the lookbook coming up. One of the things that kind of speaking to mindset, one of the things that I did when I was okay, no worries. When I was starting this business back in 2018, and maybe you guys can kind of jump in. Hey, Tanya, I don't know if you have any experience with cannabis. I know that you drive, so it's not going to kind of be the thing that you're going to do, but per se. But it probably back in the day when you were here, that might have been something that you were involved with. But the point I was going to make was in terms when I was researching, I knew that there were different strands of cannabis that did different things because I was looking for like women who are going through menopause have a plethora of different things. So roughly anywhere, depending upon who's speaking, 80 to 34 different symptoms that pop up during menopause. And depending upon your life, your lifestyle, and what you consume, etc. One of the things that I did was I researched things, some for the common challenges that women have during menopause. For example, the anxiety. Jen mentions that she had anxiety. Another thing that women struggle with is the weight gain. It's the appetite out of
mhm.
control. It's the itchy skin. It's the I'm trying to think of some of the other things. It's the itchy clit.
Yeah.
It's the
Same.
yeah, the hot flashes,
Hot
as well
flashes.
as the night sweats, which are basically nighttime flashes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do
Mhm.
Not
you
sleeping.
say
Not
again?
sleeping. Not sleeping.
Not
No sleep,
insomnia,
not
exactly.
sleeping. Oh my God,
So
right?
I used to date someone who says, he didn't like having and imbibing or ingesting because it either made him happy, horny, or hungry. So, in terms of the strains, Jody, what strains would you suggest for women who, before we kind of start to pivot to toys, what kind of strains would you let you in live, Tanya? Hold on a second. Tanya requests to come in live. She's you need to request because I can't pull you in. What, Jody, what strains would you recommend for women who are going through? And when I'm talking about folks, I'm talking about genetics because everything is not just weed or grass or pot. Everything is sophisticated. The same way you have saffron that's from Madagascar or you have it from Indonesia, you have the same thing with your cannabis. It's very, very, very specific. So, Jody, go ahead.
Right. So when we're talking about different strains or cultivars of the cannabis plant, there are hundreds of different specific, cultivars, and you may have heard the words sativa or indica, or hybrid. Um, in this day and age, everything seems to be a hybrid. A hybrid of different. So a hybrid means a combination of different strains or cultivars. So if I come out and say, okay, great, White Widow is great for it. People are like, great, White Widow, and then they're looking around at dispensaries or even seeds. I mean, you can grow your White Widow if you're in, but that particular strain might not have, enough of the cannabinoids or maybe even what their body needs because the needs differ from person to person, as well as what dispensaries are going to sell. So they don't always sell. I mean, they do sell straight. Sativa or hybrid or indica leaning, but oftentimes they're not, you can't get a specific strain. It's very tough to follow a
It's
specific strain
it's
or
much harder
cultivar.
now.
But what I am going to say is, if you're going into a dispensary and they are saying sativa or indica type thing, I would say something more indica leaning or something that's going to be more relaxing as opposed to something that's more exhilarating and,
Yeah.
motivating, that type of thing. So I would say,
So, Jody, hold on
something
a
more
second.
relaxing.
For those of you who don't understand or don't know about the distinction between sativas or indicas, when you think indica, think it's going to have you in the couch. you will be couch locked.
Mhm.
So so it's just like you're like you smoke, you're like, oh, and you're out. So that's what an indica does. And then I'm gonna give a caveat for sativas tend to scintillate, to excite you, to kind of get you up and
Mhm.
going, energized and going like this, and different, and where we talked about different people's bodies metabolize cannabis or CBD differently. um, the same thing happens with the various strains of cannabis. I personally, let me get Tanya in here again. Tanya, I'm going to let you in again. I don't know why it's not taking you. For me, when I have a sativa, I'm able to have laser focus. I'm able to, because I have a touch of ADD, kind of like.
Can you hear me, Karen?
Yes, I can hear you now, Tanya.
Okay.
Hold.
I wasn't talking before.
Okay.
Because your other guest was talking.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that Karen and I. By the way, my name's Tanya, but that's one of the things that Karen and I have been talking about because, and I have no problem saying this, I've been clean from drugs and alcohol for 28 years. And she tells me that every like CBD has just a touch of THC, right? So my thing is, I've been in menopause now 20 years. And the reason it came on so early is number one, I've had a full hysterectomy and I have multiple sclerosis, right? And so my question.
Oh, Tanya just went. All right. So hold on a second. Tanya just slid out. Tanya has MS. And as she was saying, she's in recovery. She's been in recovery for a while. And she went into what a term I like to call suddenly menopause, because it's like you go to the doctor today. Let me give her request in. Everything is gravy and groovy. And then you wake up coming off the table and you are now in full blown menopause. And there's nothing like.
I'm back.
Okay, cool. So that's a whole different. Hold tight,
so
Tanya. Hold tight, Tanya. Tanya, hold tight one second.
I'm sorry.
That's no. That's an entirely different Megillah than organically sliding into
Right.
menopause. So menopause has its own, as we kind of started talking about, its own mindset kind of changes, but suddenly menopause is entirely different. So Tanya, hey, V the Connector, how are you doing? Welcome, Tanya. Go ahead. You were saying.
So as I was saying, like she said, I was thrown into menopause early, and what it has done, it has caused, like you say, that weight gain right here, and because there's nothing there. And I also have problems with urinary tract infections at the same thing. So I have to be careful of what I use vaginally as well as what type of soap I use down there.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've even been told, other things that I need to do by my doctor in order to stop the urinary tract infection. So my question was,
just quick aside, what kinds of things is he suggesting that you do?
Shave.
Shave?
She said shave. Okay, what else?
Shave, because what happens is the moisture, the only thing down there is my bladder. If I feel like I gotta go, but I don't go, but I still live it, then your panties is holding that moisture in along with your hair.
Oh, Jody, okay, hold on. I'm like, I'm going to defer to you. Hold tight. So, Tanya, what else? I know. What else, Tanya? No. Go ahead. What else?
To not do bubble baths and bombs, any type of bath, salt or whatever. Yeah, that's what I was told not to do. Sitting in a bath with bubble bath, point blank. And like you guys were saying, the dryness. Now that's a myth. I don't have the dryness. And with having in menopause, I don't have a problem being dry. Okay.
All
right.
Okay. Count yourself amongst the lucky. All right, but hold tight. I want to circle back around because Jody's like, oh, you saw my face. I went, wait. I said, whoa, wait. So go, Jody. I'm gonna defer to you because I love having your expertise in the room. So you go ahead.
Nobody should ever
Hold on a
be
second. Jody is a
shaving.
labor and delivery nurse for the last 20
Okay.
years. Okay, so Jody, go ahead.
Nobody should ever be shaving their Netherlands. Okay. And especially like I can't understand how a medical professional, especially one that specializes in that area, advised you to do this. I mean, the emergency room visits that happen from ingrown hairs and infection. And if you're worried about infection, you accidentally nick yourself. That's a very bumpy and sensitive area. And when you're trying to get the in betweens and then oops, oops,
So what's your opinion when it comes to the hair part?
the hair part is a like that's natural. If trimming is okay, if you want to trim it back, that is totally fine. If you're feeling like you need to get rid of the hair, wax, laser, but not actually using a razor that harbors bacteria, whether you're in a shower, if you wash it off, whatever. I mean, maybe if you use a brand new razor each time, but that's still the chafing. You're still, I mean, even if it's a surface wound, it's an open area that bacteria can get in. That's even worse than having long hair and just having it near your urethra, because you're worried about yeast and urinary tract infections. Is that what you get
Right.
chronically? Um, yeah, it's keeping it airy, wearing loose underwear when you can, go commando and air yourself out. And
I do.
especially like in the summer, if you're able to get outside and just legs wide open to the sun
Stunning,
and
stunning.
sun that yawny, oh my.
It's a whole
Oh
nother.
my.
It sounds okay. Now that we're all in my business, it is a thing. So when you go to the beach and Christmas, and when I was out of the country, and I went to like my own little nude beach, and I kind of sat, laid back, and it was like we all were getting sun. It was like
Okay.
from head to toe, literally, from the rooter to the tutor.
Right, the rooter to the tutor. I love that. I love that.
So, like with us shaving under our arms, do you prefer? I mean, do you suggest something to the aspect of like neat or something like that?
If you don't react to the chemicals of neat or nair, I would prefer that. I would suggest that to shaving. Shaving should be your last resort. I mean, under your armpits is a little bit different than your Netherlands, because
Mm-hmm.
you're not like, you're wearing underwear, you're wearing pants. Things are usually tight all the time, like more often. Um, and your armpits, I mean, are definitely easier to, air out and wear less clothing. So I'm more okay with shaving the
What
armpits
about
than
wearing
below.
panty liners? Will that hurt or help?
That would be a great product to have a medicinal panty liner with cannabis in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think they do make at least tampons with CBD in it. I'm not sure about panty liners,
that would be interesting.
but I mean, so are you wearing the panty? Are you wanting to wear the panty liner because of incontinence? Because you're incontinent of urine?
Yes, because I was thinking about that because um I'm not sexually active, but with the hair, I'm figuring, okay, if I wear a panty liner, I may not feel like I gotta go, but like I said, because I don't have a uterus or anything, so nothing's there but my bladder. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm walking and I may not even know that until I get home to use the bathroom that I have skeeted a little bit in my panties.
Right. Right. And stress incontinence happens. That's,
Mhm.
and especially if you've had any children, oh my goodness, if you cough, you sneeze, I mean, out it comes. Even
Yeah,
if even
exactly.
if you cross your legs and your
Right.
kegels
So
are on point.
That's what Katrina
Um,
says.
but again, with the panty liner thing, if I mean, that's again trapping moisture, and I understand it does have wicking stuff in it, but that would be something like it's not something just to replace airing out, and like it's not a what do I want to say? that would have to be changed as well. If you're worried about incontinence, that's one thing. If it's just that your panties are a little moist, I would say change your underwear before, needing to trap any moisture with a panty liner.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. My friend Yolanda came in. I don't know if she's still here. She popped in and out. One of the things that I would, well, there was something I was going to talk about. So, Jody, we said we were going to talk about, what is this?
Oh, was it the strains and stuff?
Yes, we're talking
I,
about
I was,
strains.
yeah, I was actually just going to get more specific, like leading away from talking about strains and cultivars and more getting into the actual cannabinoids
Yep.
themselves, like choosing product for the cannabinoids that they contain as opposed to what strain or cultivar they came from. Because it's really about the THC, the THCV, which
Yes.
which is the diet cannabinoid, the
Yes.
cannabinoid that suppresses hunger. So allegedly, this is, we can't claim anything medically, but that's what people are finding, that,
Yep.
this might be one of those cannabinoids. CBN, which is a great cannabinoid for
For sleep.
sleep.
Yep.
CBG. I mean, there are so many, and then you get into the acidic form, CBDA, THC, THCA, which is the acidic form of THCV THC before it's heated, and THCA does not get you high.
Wow.
That's that when even though it's carboxylated, it does not give you that elevation.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the things that the thought just kind of occurred to me that slipped away. One of the things that Jody mentioned, Jody mentioned early on, is that everyone's body is pretty much mapped to receive the cannabinoids. So whether you know it or not, or whether you feel like, Jesus did not want you to have cannabis, whatever, your body is hardwired to receive has receptors for cannabis. So whenever you ingest it, it's automatically going to go and give you relief. So whether you do it this is a THC one too. This one, whether it's topical, whether you're having a gummy, this is CBD. So if I've sent this to you, this is not THC, it's CBD. Although, as I said, it does have a little bit of trace element in order to activate the CBD. So if you are getting any form of CBD and it is working, it has to have some little bit of THC. The amount of the THC in it is what is going to drive. You're welcome, Tanya. Is really what's going to make the difference in whether or not you feel it's psychoactive or not. Go ahead, Jody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. That was actually great. I love that. And and the product you're talking about is full spectrum. So when we talk about full spectrum, broad spectrum, isolate, the full spectrum is all parts of the plant, all of the cannabinoids, THC, CBD, like every single one of them. Where if someone were worried about getting THC tested for THC, pregnant women that wanted to stay away from it, children, that's when they would get into taking a broad spectrum, which is all of the cannabinoids except THC. And that all comes in the extraction process. There isn't a plant that's THC free, because it will even have small amounts of THCA, which when burnt will turn to THC. But
Well, hold a second.
even the hemp plants,
All plants.
all cannabis plants,
There you go. I wanted to
cannabis
clarify
plants.
that for
I'm
everyone.
sorry.
What?
Yeah, that's what I meant to. I'm sorry.
I have us smoking our ferns over here.
Yeah, no. But there are other herbs that have cannabinoids in them.
Yeah.
The cannabis plant has terpenes, which are the essential oils that are also found in other fruits and vegetables, like lemon. Limonene is in lemon. It's also in some cannabis cultivars. Pinene, which is the pine smell,
That's right.
that is also in some cannabis cultivars. So, there's definitely the cross, the cross benefits. And, cannabis is, it was meant for us to use. Since this endocannabinoid system is connected to all of the other systems in the body, we have 11 systems, which many of people are very familiar with: the respiratory system, the cardiovascular system, the integumentary system, which is our skin,
Yeah,
our largest organ. The endocannabinoid system, we have receptor sites in all of these systems, including the immune system.
that's right.
So when we talk about illness and health and wellness, and we think about how people are so sick these days with autoimmune. We never heard the word autoimmune disorder,
Nope.
or I mean all of the cardiovascular disease we have. Diabetes is
Yep.
is rampant.
Right.
But I mean, cancer's rampant, and and all of these all of these diseases are due to one or another system being imbalanced. So, doesn't it make sense that if our endocannabinoid system is imbalanced, it's going to throw our other systems off,
Yep.
and our body's going to try to make up for it, in other ways, but oftentimes it's cardiovascular, it's inflammation. Inflammatory diseases happen because of what we put into our bodies and on our bodies and how we live our life. We don't get enough sleep, we don't get the proper nutrition in, we don't get the proper
Everyone hear
exercise
that?
and rest.
I just want to kind of stick the pin in that one. Not getting enough sleep. When you're a woman who's in midlife, that's one of the first triggers
Oh,
or signals that something is wrong. When you're like, go to
mhm.
bed at your normal time and like bing at 2 in the morning. That's an indicator that you're skewing out of balance. And I kind of, Jody, I kind of lean to you and say, hey, is it possible that if we, and I've put a post about this before, pay attention to your body. Your body's throwing you
Mhm.
signals, kind of like that guy at the bar who's hitting on you, throwing you signals that he's interested in taking you home. Your body's throwing you signals that something is not right over here. I need you to pay attention to me. Over here, ma'am, over here. So things like as
Right.
basic as the sleep, and you were saying, just even the sugar and the insulin is something that really starts to skew during menopause as well.
Mhm.
So that's another
Mhm.
thing. Look at your pee, look at your poop. We're way off from toys, but
Absolutely.
this is
We are way up, but it all leads into it. I mean, it's important to have a
right.
functioning body and
Yeah,
understand how it works before you're going to use tools on it. Because you
absolutely.
can have the tools and not have the proper, you know, acceptance, a body to accept it.
Exactly, exactly.
I don't know what I want to say, like
That's
you
funny.
need to
That's funny.
prepare.
I wanted to, and this is again, some of the things we're talking about are more than just kind of one hit wonders. They're conversations that have, it's like that onion, that blooming onion at Outback, which I haven't been to in like forever and ever. But it's like the layers, and you're just peeling back the layers and layers of onion with this. Um,
Right.
uh, One of the things we talked a little bit about why cannabis. We talked about cannabis and intimacy a little bit. Why consider cannabis or CBD? What does it do? What can't it do? What can't cannabis do? Jody, what can't it do?
What let's see, what can't it do? I mean, it's not having the orgasm for you,
True, true.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be an active participant. I mean, it's really, it's really just helping
So,
along. So I'm trying
are you familiar with high climax?
with what?
It's high climax is a a, a cannabis, not this one's not a CBD. I'm carrying the ones that you see that I carry your CBD with. This is a THC,
THC.
um, arousal and stimulating cream. So you will get it has yeah, I've used it. It has the tingly kind of almost pepperminty kind of feeling, and then
Hmm.
you'll find similar to what you got with the suppository. It gives you that. See you later, Tanya. Thanks so much for popping in. It gives you that kind of ease and that relaxation as well. But with something like that, I kind of wonder for people, you know, people kind of chasing the the sex life that they had when they were 18 or 20, it's not going to happen because you had some gummies or you smoked some flour
Mm-hmm.
and you rubbed some, the sex oil on your clitoris, and then you thought it was going to be magic. That's not what it is. So it's not going to
Right.
give you an orgasm. That's here and there, and,
Right.
and with him, whatever.
Right.
Um,
And it
what else?
doesn't cure any childhood trauma or any sexual trauma that you've had. Like I mean, like it can only do so much. I mean, it is to help relax you. It is a vasodilator, so it helps, relax and open up and bring blood flow to that area. It'll get you out of your head somewhat, but it's not a miracle worker by any stretch. I mean, there are things, you don't want people to have too much of a high expectation if
Yeah,
it's something that's not going to work for them. People, I think people might think, oh, I just have to do that and it's going to be like a magic pill.
no, no.
Much like what people think pharmaceuticals do. Oh, all I have to do is take a pill and sex is going to be great. You have to get to the root of the problem and why it wasn't good to begin with. Is it because it's in your head? Is it because your body doesn't lubricate? Is it is it a physiological thing? I mean, there's different things to consider.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Do you think that cannabis or even CBD works better in an intimacy or sexual context more for men or for women?
Um, so women tend to just because I don't know if it's because of our hormones or maybe we have more receptor sites receiving the cannabis, but we actually metabolize it better. We than men. Men need more of it. Or no, I'm sorry. More men are more sensitive to cannabinoids where they feel a reaction, the effects of THC or whatever
Really?
before, yeah, at a lower dose than women.
So in terms of,
Really?
oh, that's
Mm.
isn't that interesting.
That is very
Yeah.
interesting.
So in terms of micro dosing, I
And
know
it's
I
and it's a and it's a female plant, so I think it was made for us.
That's
So I
true.
think that's why we,
that's really
Right.
interesting. Just
right.
so that you guys know, in the same way with reproductive system 101, like in the fifth grade, the male plant and female plant. And what tends to happen in a lot of grows is the male plant gets kind of squashed out and a lot of the female plants kind of take over.
Yeah.
So your grow is just, and you need to have male plants
Hmm.
and female plants in order to have a grow. So that's why
Hmm.
it's kind of a double-ended joke that it's like it's a female plant and they're kind of
Hey,
like
Karen, are you still watching the time?
yes, we are 1021 on this. Let me see. I wanted to show you guys some of what we have at the bottom of the StreamYard, Chiron. I have the website. I did want to show you guys this real quickly because now, of course, I am. Let me just go over here and see if I can grab it. Present. Let me see. I'm just going to share my screen. Give me one quick second.
And also, just while you're finding that,
Okay, yeah.
another little tidbit, for those women that were out there and breastfeeding and worried about, cannabis use and breastfeeding your baby. You know how we talk about a baby being milk drunk,
Uh-huh.
from breast milk?
Yeah.
It's not. Do you know what it is? The bliss molecule, anandamide, which is what is that? It's an endocannabinoid. It's a
Really?
cannabinoid that our bodies make. Our bodies make, regardless of whether you've ingested or smoked the plant at all in your entire life, your body will still make its own cannabinoids because of this endocannabinoid system. 2-AG and anandamide, anandamide being the bliss molecule. That is excreted in breast milk regardless of your consumption. So
Wow.
when that baby is consuming that milk and it gets that, that what we call milk drunk,
Yeah.
that's the bliss molecule in effect. It's called anandamide, and it's your endocannabinoid system
Nice.
responsible for that.
Nice.
That is so
Well,
interesting.
I want to.
Yet we're still instructing women not to use this plant during pregnancy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will eventually we'll get away from that, once it's not being demonized anymore.
Right.
Seems
Legal in
crazy.
all 50 states.
All right.
Yeah.
Since we only have a little bit of time, I just want to kind of pop through this real quickly. And
Yeah.
this is
The
poor
pleasure
trainer
collection.
etiquette. I just want to show you guys and share with you. I don't know what is happening to me. Bad trainer, bad trainer. Um, view tab, StreamYard. Sorry, guys. I don't know why this is not being nice. Okay, so kind of, sorta. Uh, I'm just going to kind of go through. This basically is me kind of saying, hey, I love couples, we love cannabis, and basically trying to help everyone kind of get to a point where they are. I do not know, Karen, the last time we did this, it was so much better. Let me see.
Yeah.
Slides. Let's see if it goes as slides. I have no slides. Google slide my computer. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to kind of go through it, fly through it like this. So basically, I'm hoping I'm flying through it. Oh God, guys, I'm super, super duper sorry. Hey, I'm gonna cut you guys loose on Instagram since you guys can't see this anyway. Thanks so much for popping in. We were talking about toys. Tonight was the 420 edition of Toy Talk After Dark. There's some products that, because this is acting ugly, I may or may not be able to get to. And we're gonna come back out of this. But tonight I've got the bath time. We've got our little ducky as well as the bath bombs. Those are on. I also have the melts, which are the vaginal suppositories, the Tease Me kit, as well as the sex oil. Take a look on the site. Definitely, I will. Hey, thanks so much. Come on up and take a peek and see what we have. I have prices marked down tonight. I'm gonna post this up on my stories so that way you guys will have an opportunity to see some of the things that are on sale tonight. Everything is CBD because I can't send things across state lines. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot of information and you got something out of tonight. Thanks. Deuces. We'll be back with another kind of interesting, sometimes possibly cringy conversation next week. This is Wink Blink Flirt, otherwise known as Karen. I'm glad to have you pop in. Take care. Bye. Wow. So you guys, I'm gonna share that.
And that was on IG?
That was on IG,
Okay.
Jody. I'm
Okay.
going to send that to you. Happy 420. I'm gonna pop this in real quickly for them because otherwise it'll post on its own. And return. I'm going to come here. Great. I'm gonna hit share. All right, so that comes here. Sorry, guys, I'm taking that off and I'm back to you. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so oddly enough, what I had for you guys to see as I have the melts. The melts are $20 today. Okay, so if anybody Jody and Karen, you have your discount. I also
Awesome.
have the sex oil, which is normally $44. That one is I've marked that one down. I think that one tends to get kind of high because of the CBD. I also have the duck and the lube, and that one is, I think I have that as either $39.99 with the lube and the bath bomb, which is a really great deal. That's the
Ooh, yeah.
bundle of the week. I've decided now what I'm doing is putting together a bundle of the week, so everybody has an opportunity to get something groovy and interesting, and it's not crazy. Things are expensive now, so I'm just trying to make this a little bit easier. I also have. I didn't put up the quickie kit this time. The quickie kit is like a little sampler of everything. If somebody asks me and says, "Oh, I really wanted that. Oh, I can't believe you put it." Maybe I'll put that up. But and I did also put up one or two other, like the climax, and there's an amazing candle that's a CBD massage candle that you have, and
Oh,
yeah, and that one's only right now it's 19.99. So you can, if you're into like the wax pouring or wax massaging, I am in a so judgment free zone. I don't care.
okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
That sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
I love a good candle.
Melt the
it's
candle and you
yeah.
just pour the
Yes, it's amazing. It's so many different crazy innovations. I have a CBD lube. I was at an event. I was giving out the CBD lube. We have the arousal oil. So if you want to put that on your nipples, so that way you have arousal because that's your thing. We go from I want you to put this oil on my nipples to stimulate my nipples all the way up to don't you have nipple clamps with you or paper
Right. All
or
right. What?
clothespins? What is it?
Husband.
How do you not?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I
So,
love
as
it.
I said, this is our time is now. I think it's probably time for me to kind of
10,
start
10:28.
10:28. It's
Yep.
okay. We can shut it down because I give myself the elasticity. Karen, do you have any questions for Jody or anything else
Yes.
that
Yes, I do. So, Jody, I have a question for you too, Karen. But Jody, you were talking about the different strains, and
Yes.
I remember back in the day, they always there were two kinds. There was the monkey paw. Karen, you know if you've heard of that, right?
I didn't smoke the whole time until I got into my 40s.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it
So
made
A
me feel
late
like I had to
bloomer.
take off my clothes.
oh my
Ha
God.
ha ha ha
What
ha
was that made you want to
ha.
drink?
Like I could feel every fiber. It was like it's
Yeah.
like oh my god, my clothes are attacking me. So I
Well,
would have
yeah.
to go back
Well,
and take off my
that's why
clothes.
my husband he loved here smoke a joint. Let's get high. He loved it because he knew that would get me going. And no
That's
matter
so
no
funny.
matter whatever type of mood I was in, he was like, here, let's smoke this joint. So
That was some kind of strain. That was a specific strain then.
yeah, it was one called the monkey paw, and then there was another one that started with the C. I don't want to. And I'm sitting here all this time trying to remember it, but I was
Where are
wondering.
you from? Where are you from? Because strains tend to be region specific. Like Cali strains aren't really
Okay,
here in New England, Oregon. Like it
Sour
really
diesel.
varies.
Sour
okay.
diesel
Yep,
is
Sour
very
I'm
diesel.
New
from Ohio, but let me
Okay.
tell you, there's a song. This was back like in the '90s, so and it talks about monkey paw because that's a
Is it a
different type
Snoop song?
of. It's one of those guys. Lord forgive
Yeah.
me. Yeah, one of those. Snoop knows. He would know if he
Yeah.
knew. But I was just wondering if that kind of correlated with what you were talking about, the sativa and the other strain, and they just named it. So I say that to say this other one, it starts with the C. I think I want to call it, the California. It would kind of mellow you out.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the monkey paw was more intense. You only had to smoke a little bit of it. But if you wanted, I used to take it like to get up and clean, my house.
Yep. Yep.
Scrubbing. Next thing you know, I'm scrubbing, scrubbing, scrubbing. I'm always, it just gave you
That
that.
that sounds typical of what a sativa, like a
Yep.
sativa leaning would do.
Yeah,
And then the other one, was more of, it sounded like an
right.
indica, what someone would typically call an indica.
Probably remember at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll make sure I keep that. I'll write it
Yeah.
down the next time. But
But
now,
as I said, there are hundreds upon hundreds. I mean, thousands of strains, and so many strains that are mixed with other strains and hybrids. And I mean, you can go on the app Leafly or go on to leafly.com
Yep.
and
Listen.
look up all sorts of different strains and their
Okay.
characteristics and whether they're indica or sativa leaning or hybrid. And you're going to be overwhelmed. It's like, oh my God, there's so many. It's
Yeah.
because of the breeding. I mean, it's like humans. Look at all of the, like, it's not
Right.
just one,
Okay.
one particular, like it's the interbreeding. I mean, there's like everybody's a mutt with cannabis. Every plant is a mutt.
Gotcha.
There's you can find genetics.
That's right.
So it's really genetics hunting and really going back to listening to your body. Really, since we don't know a whole lot how our own bodies react with the plant, we have to try it ourselves and try many different cultivars, try different products, because even with what the product is mixed with, like when you're eating an edible,
Yeah.
I find that when I have an edible that is high in fat, so whether it's a chocolate or some sort of, because cannabis is fat soluble, so
Uh,
it rides in and metabolizes into your cells so much better and works better
That's
when
right.
eaten either with a fat or as a fat.
Or cooking
So
the cannabis with can of butter Whole nother
Yes.
conversation we can have another time.
Wow. I
Oh
can't
my
wait.
God. I mean, in my
Right.
coffee every day, I put my infused coconut oil. I grow my own. Here, let
You have
me
your own
actually
grow?
bring it. Oh my God. Yeah, I grow indoors and outdoors. So here,
How
Oh
are you growing
wow.
outdoors in Massachusetts?
Look
we're
at
legal both
that.
recreational and medically, but and as a medical
Oh,
patient, I can have
sir,
24 plants. Oh,
plants.
wait a second. Yeah, I can have
I
24.
see
All
it.
of these are going all these are going outside, and I planted these on the full moon. We're a new moon now, so a month and a half ago. So these are 6 weeks old.
Oh, look at that.
How are you
And
separating your female from your male so they don't kind of
so
not
they
cannibalize, but you know what I'm
yeah
talking
well, they won't, so they wouldn't pollinate until they're in flower. So right
about? Okay,
now they're in veg. They can all get together along nicely in veg.
okay.
It's once they hit flower, and that's when the light changes. Outdoors it's usually around, so I'm going to plant them outside probably in May, and probably by September,
Uh-huh.
early September is really when they're going to start to show flowering, start getting into flowering. So
Okay.
as soon as you see, and I can sex them immediately. Like you'll see the white pistils, and as soon as you see like little teeny tiny ball sacks starting to grow, you yank those and burn those male motherfuckers. You burn them. You don't want them anywhere near. But outdoor, you also have to be careful, because not everybody and it's an 18-mile radius that you can have your plants pollinated by somebody else thinking, oh, they're male plants. Oh, isn't this nice? I'll just use them all. So outdoor isn't always guaranteed that they won't be fertilized and get seeds. But I can at least take them out. So the plants that I actually planted, I've only grown females out of these. So this is called Jody's Secret, and I think these are feminized seeds. So
Okay.
so far, me and any of the other nurses who grow that I've given my seeds out to a lot of people. They've only gotten female plants. And
Wow.
I've given these toddlers away before, and I've never gotten a male plant. So fingers crossed that these
That's
are all
so
all
cool,
female
Jody. That is really
female as
cool.
well.
Jody,
But
can
yeah,
I?
so I'm a grower. I infuse my own oil. I make my own tincture. And I have to show you something else. So right behind me, you see that cotton candy machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I infuse sugar, and so I have Jody's Secret Fairy Floss. And I just won an award for it.
Oh
So
my
Cherry,
see this
God! Stop
cup?
it!
I won
Yeah.
I
I
Okay.
love
won
Was
that.
I
it High
won at
Times
the
or Canna Cup?
it's the New England Cannabis Convention. I just won this in March last month. And
Congratulations!
the
Congratulations.
edibles. Yeah, so I make fairy floss.
Oh, that's
This
I
is,
love that.
and look at my little sexy logo. That's
Oh, Jody, I
oh,
love that.
cherry floss. That is
I
adorable.
love
I
that.
love that.
Um,
Yeah, so right now I'm not licensed or anything. I mean, as we know, it takes a lot to get a THC or a
yeah.
CBD license,
Yep.
so I'm going to need, help in that way. But at home, this is just in my own little legacy home cooking. Those who know me can get some of my sugar, my honey. I have herbal honey. I have sea salt.
Oh,
And
Oh,
for
nice.
my fairy floss, I also, not just regular sugar, I also infuse isomalt, which is 0 on the glycemic index, which diabetics can
Yes.
consume. And it's an easy way to medicate too, because it's dissolvable. The only thing, it doesn't have fat in it, so I would always suggest someone to take a fat with this too. But for someone just trying to get it in quickly, and the novelty of
I love
cotton
Yes.
candy.
Cotton candy.
love that.
Wow.
Jody, can I
Yeah.
please invite you back to come back and join me again?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I
I would
yeah.
love to. This is a fun group. This was awesome. This was totally awesome.
thank you, thank you,
Oh,
thank you.
same here, Jody.
Well,
Wow.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on Toy Talk After Dark. As I said to you
Mhm.
the other day, we're kind of going, we're walking down the same block, but we're meandering a little bit. We're doing some
Right.
different things to pick up knowledge and gems along the way. And
Yeah.
I remember when I met you and you came in to Clubhouse, I was like, who's she? I want to talk to her. But anywho, I thank
That's
you guys for
awesome.
You are always amazing with your question. You said you had another question. You had a question
Yeah,
for me?
just real quick, Karen.
No,
Do you carry any like pheromones, like perfume?
yes, I do. I just
Okay.
started getting into pheromones, and I
Okay.
have the bubble bath. I have a cologne, and I also have pheromone.
Okay. Because I
Yes,
just put an order in. I got my lube, and I think I got the CBD oil, the
yes.
dual set.
I
So
sent
I'm
it
gonna
to you.
go back.
The order went
But
out
I
today.
want to look for the bath bomb. I want to see if you have the pheromones. 'Cause I like.
Hold on a second. Let me stop recording this one right now. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Let me go to stop. Hold on a second. I stopped my camera. Hold on a second. Settings. I'm so goofy with this some days. Excuse me. All right.
So
Hey,
is that recorded at all?
yes, it was. So
Yay! So I'll be able to have access to that because I want to put it up on my YouTube.
Absolutely, absolutely. So hey, thanks so much for listening in YouTube and StreamYard. We'll be back next week with a whole nother show. Thank you. Bye.